So a private prison corporation wrote a state legislature basically children can be detained. So if a family of illegal immigrants comes into this country and they get caught prior to this bill, the children, families couldn't stay there past a certain amount of time. I'll go into the details in the article and I'll put the link of it below. It was in the Intercept. It was written by Dave Dayen and it's called Private Prison Corporation Wrote Texas Bill Extending How Long Immigrant Children Can Be Detained. And basically, they can be detained indefinitely if this bill goes through. And it was written by a private prison organization. Now, oh man, if you saw the movie 13th, which if you haven't, I highly recommend it. It shows basically how, well, the movie focuses on the 13th Amendment and how that was used to imprison large numbers of black men in this country for a long time. And in the last 30 some years, 30, 40 years, private prisons have lobbied to write laws to privatize more prisons and also to create laws that keep more prisons full because they get a lot of money. If you've ever watched that show, Orange is the New Black, whatever you think of that show, it is a scathing criticism of the prison system in this country. So I'll read some stuff from it and also how this started. So the legislation that was written by private prisons would allow family detention centers to be classified as child care facilities, enabling immigrants and customs enforcement to detain women and children for longer periods. This, of course, the bill aligns with the Trump administration's punitive immigration policies and helps it to navigate a challenge to federal detention policy. Oh, God. During the migrant influx of 2014, the Obama administration contracted the construction of 2 giant family detention centers in South Texas, one for each of America's biggest private prison companies. That's Obama. To hold women and children seeking asylum. CoreCivic runs the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, Texas, and the GEO Group manages the Karnes County Residential Center. However, because of multiple judicial rulings dating back to 1997, no undocumented child can be held for over 20 days in anything but a licensed, non-secure child care facility. So they're going to take they're going to take a prison and call it a child care facility is what they're going to do. And this grassroots groups have given them the nickname of baby jails. A survivor of a World War II era Japanese internment camp said the facilities triggered distressing associations of my own experience as a child. Reports of inadequate medical care, sexual abuse, improper solidarity confinement, and permanently stunted child development proliferate. Most of all, the presence of locks on the doors contradicts the idea of a non-secure facility. They're not allowed to leave. That's jail. I can come and go here as I please. I'm not in jail. If someone puts a lock on that door or there's a guard out there that says I can't leave, I'm in jail. I'm in prison. This is so, and of course, you've got a bunch of undocumented people who are just trying to come for a better life because they're probably coming from some awful, horrific Mexican drug cartel violence where they behead people, they rape and pillage and do whatever they want. The Mexican drug cartels are making a lot of money selling drugs to Americans. Yes, another reason why we're making the world worse. And then people are coming here for asylum because it's horrible down there and you make $1 an hour and all this other stuff. And so you're not documented. You don't have any paperwork. You're in this country illegally. You're in a detention center. I'm a guard. I can do whatever I want. Who are you going to report this to? Who are you going to report it to? And now we're going to do that with kids and call it a child care facility. Oh, okay. Okay, so are we going to then start saying that, people dealing drugs, crystal meth and Oxycontin and cocaine and heroin, are they like pharmacists? Are we going to, we're going to let them, that's a, oh God. Tomahawk missiles, are they justice helpers. They're oh. Freedom sparklers. Is that what those are? We're going to send some freedom sparklers into the Middle East. So the Texas Department of Family Protective Services granted the facilities child care licenses, but last year a state judge blocked the designation. So the GEO Group, the nation's second largest private prison operator, went to work assembling legislation that would countermand the judicial ruling. I don't know how these people sleep at night. Are they just so disconnected from the world? You want to lock up children indefinitely? They're not here legally. Is that really, if you saw these kids and what they were trying to accomplish and the abject poverty that they were living in, do we need immigration reform? Sure, absolutely. Why don't we spend some of this money on like a path to citizenship? Give them jobs, let them pay taxes. Instead, build that money is then used for private prisons. And the private prison industry makes so much money from this, they don't care. They do not care. I would ask them, how do you look yourself in the mirror? But, you need a soul to see your reflection in a mirror. Oh, that's right. So, the GEO Group, the nation's second largest private prison operator, as I said, the bill would lower state child care standards for family detention centers, excluding the facilities from regulations such as the ones that prohibit housing children and unrelated adults in the same room. Republican State Representative John Rainey admitted to the Associated Press that the GEO Group officials wrote the legislation. I've known the lady who's their lobbyist for a long time. That's where the legislation came from, said Rainey. We don't make things up. People bring these things to us and ask our help. There's companion legislation in the House and State and Senate. If the bill, which cleared a Senate subcommittee last week, passes, women and children could be held at Carnes or Dilley indefinitely while awaiting deportation. Without the bill, the facilities would likely have to shut down. If you live in Texas, start petitioning your local lawmakers right now. If you know anyone that lives in Texas, tell them to do this. The Carnes facility earns about $55 million per year for the GEO Group, but in part because of the standing judicial order, the population is only 100 in an 830-bed facility. Oh, they got to fill those beds. They're losing money. Grassroots leadership, the Immigrant rights group, whose lawsuit successfully blocked the child care order last year, is urging Texas legislators to vote down the bill. It was initially supposed to come up in the Senate yesterday, but has been delayed. Because Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly has promised that families caught in border crossings would not be separated, keeping these detention centers open and available for long stays is crucial to the Trump administration's deportation strategy. Hey, you won't be separated. You're just going to be in a prison indefinitely. That's a great way to keep a family together. GEO Group has a lot riding on the expansion of immigration detention. Oh, man. The Trump administration just granted the GEO Group a $110 million contract to build a 1,000-bed detention facility in Conroe, a small town outside of Houston. The mayor of Conroe, already home to a 1,500-bed GEO Group facility, didn't know about the new contract until he read about it in the press reports. GEO Group made what appears to be an illegal $225,000 donation to a Trump-supporting super PAC during the 2016 presidential election. Wow, that's a shocker, you corrupt assholes. Government contractors are barred from political donations of this type. The company also spends heavily in Texas, including $320,000 to lobby the state legislature in the first 4 months of the year. If you live in Texas or know anybody that lives in Texas, get on the phone right now and call them and tell them this is bullshit. It's not right. It's just not right. Let's maybe start being the country that is humane to people. I know we don't even treat our own citizens that way. We shoot unarmed people. We shoot water cannons at people that want drinkable water. We poison water, and then we arrest people that protest undrinkable water. We put tax liens on people's houses that can't undrinkable water. We just let people just get fucking raped and beaten in this country, and then we think we have the moral high ground. We do not have the moral high ground. This is a pathway to try to get it back if we ever had it at all. So let's try to, I don't know, treat people like humans. And anybody on the right that's like, blah, 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 ask them if they're a Christian and ask them, you know, would Jesus do this? I don't think he would. That's my guess. Oh, man. And again, I don't see anybody in the mainstream media covering this shit. Not one single one of those assholes. So keep supporting independent media, you guys. There's a lot of ways to do it. There's the Patreon, obviously. You get a lot of cool stuff, bonus videos. You get to have a say in this. You get to send me articles. And then just there's liking, subscribing, and sharing these videos and letting your friends and family know. Wake people up. They're not aware of this. And vote for real political change. We need a real progressive that's going to flat out just say no to this. Not take some of the money, make a big stance. Oh, we can't do this, and then still take the money and then not pass the legislation or gut the legislation. That's a big thing. We're passing a strong bill to block the private prisons, and then they write little stuff in it that's like gives the private prisons what they need, but it still looks good to them. You know? Oh, man. Keep fighting.